Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, everybody. As everyone is getting notified that your girl is live, let's come in. Let's check in. How y'all doing? Where y'all watching from? Okay, I'd like to know where's my community at in this world. Some of y'all are watching from the US. Others are watching from I feel like I get Canadian people, South African, all over. The UK is another big spot. Okay. So I want to know where y'all watching from. How's your Saturday going? So many things for us to get into, but let's check in. Come into the chat. Like the video. Subscribe. Do all the do's because this story has taken over the internet. And as a therapist, it has brought up just so many different things in my own work. Do I hold back things that I talk about? Do I limit how much I share online? This could happen to anybody, any therapist, any mental health provider. And does it open up the gates to other people doing the same exact thing? And how as mental health providers, we really have no control. That's what I have realized over the last couple of days. As much as I think I am in control of my business, I am to an aspect, but then in other ways, I really have no control. Okay, is what's coming up for me. But come on in. All right. Where you watching from? Let me know. How's your Saturday going? Are you a new subscriber? Are you part of the community? It's only $1. It's only $1, y'all. But let's come in. Come into the chat, y'all. Come into the chat. But, Kendra. Oh, Kendra. Oh, Kendra. It's interesting because I caught one of her lives the other day as I was doing one of my videos, and she openly said she would have never left this man, never stopped seeing him if it was not for her insurance changing. Okay. But let me know. Come on in, come on in, come on to the chat, come on in. Have you been following the story? What are your thoughts as somebody who's just watching from the outside, who may not be a mental health provider? Yeah, it's kind of scary, right? Kind of scary, right? Yeah. Hey, Emily. I don't know if I've ever seen you on my lives before. You a new subby? Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's giving a lot of things. It's giving a lot of things. And I've noticed also how over the last couple weeks, I actually just fell into this other TikTok rabbit hole of this girl who is sharing her manic episode through different things that she has done. Like she made a music video inside of a liquor store parking lot. It's just interesting how people in social media has really changed what people talk about and discuss mental health on this level of transparency, um, breaking the stigma in ways that I never thought I would actually see people do. Because when you think about breaking the stigma, you think about talking about mental health more, therapists coming out and, celebrities coming out and talking about their mental health. But what happens when breaking the stigma looks like this? Okay. This is also breaking the stigma. Let me write that down because I want to talk about that on TikTok. So let me just jot down the notes. Is it breaking the stigma and control? See, I just be thinking about stuff off the top of my head. But yeah, it is, Is it giving manic? Is it giving, borderline personality disorders? What some people have also said, cluster B. All in all, it's giving someone that is mentally unwell. Okay, watching someone spiral and kind of decompensate while getting a lot of attention. And this is someone's recorded footprint, digital footprint of going through an episode. Going through an episode. Some of y'all think it's manic. I've heard the term manic eye, somebody said in my comment section. But what people don't realize is that this can happen to anybody, any mental health provider, case manager, therapist, a doctor. You can be just somebody's physician. And because of things like HIPAA, we have no control as providers. We cannot come up and say that never happened. What she's saying isn't true because of HIPAA. You can watch your whole career crumble. People say things about you, and because of HIPAA, we can't say nothing. We can't confirm, deny. You can't have no little sprinkling in the comments indicating that this might be your client. You might be the man that she's talking about. No, we have to just let it happen. We have to just let it happen. And I'm wondering for you guys, is this entertainment? Is it sad? What's really going on here? And I think on one of the lives, her mama or cousins or somebody was calling her. Okay. I haven't watched all the different sections, so we can look at some of it together. We'll look at the more recent ones. Hey, 1.4 million, 1.7 million, 2.9 million. Making money off of somebody else's pain. But some people might say it's her story. It's her pain also. Okay. Where do we start? Where do we start? I'm gonna start at part 10.
So this is when the chemistry really started going off the charts with me and my psychiatrist, and I held it alone for months, like after that Christmas morning appointment of his, and then after I innocently told him about my date with the therapist. He really started letting me in more and showing more parts of himself.
We're gonna have to go back because I'm like Christmas date. Oh, it's Christmas date.
Hi, I need to say something really important. And that's that it seems as though many people view what I'm going through as a crash out, what I'm doing as a mental health spiral. And of course it seems like that. I get it. It's an extremely dark thing to talk about, all of this that I went through. And I am sharing my story because it wasn't out there. No one else has shared a story like this. But I know that it happens a lot because people are in my DMs telling me that the same thing that I went through, they went through too. I am now in TikTok jail. I got a violation on the video where I talked about really the biggest damning evidence against my psychiatrist. And so because of that, I have to be really careful. So I'm going to do my very best to not be reactive and to share my story from a place of generosity, because the people in my DMs telling me that they've been through this too, it's keeping me going.
See, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. It's building out a subclass, subculture of people doing and talking about this happened to me. Okay, this happened to me. Why is your name Bill and Edit? Welcome to the chat. It is. As an associate, I hope that this story is somewhere in the books in the future. Because it is. It's a teachable moment to affirm boundaries. You have to have boundaries. Okay? You have to have boundaries because if you don't, this can happen to y'all. Okay? But she got a violation. Wow. So tell me, as a fellow, therapist, what else is coming up for you as an associate watching this? I want to know, as someone who's more of a clinical supervisor, who's a veteran kind of in the game, I do want to hear from people who are new. What is coming up for y'all as y'all going into the field? Because coming into the field now is so different than what it was 20 years ago. There's so many things that are not in the books. I feel like we're not in the books when I was learning, okay? That now it's even more. So, but what was I gonna say about this?
It's not my mental health spiral. And I can understand that for some people in the mental health space, because they have been some of the loudest people to speak out against what I'm doing, it's hard to grasp that someone could have this level of predation in such a high place of power. So, just in case my video doesn't get put back up, when everything changed was when my 75-year-old therapist, I went to her with intimate details and she suggested I go to my psychiatrist with them. And I felt so excited and nervous to share that with him because I had such a big crush on him at the time. And I recorded all 33 minutes. So this is why, if my psychiatrist wants to come with me and like sue me for defamation, I have a 33-minute recording of me admitting I have a crush on him and speaking about extremely intimate details. It was in that moment that he really, really should have transferred my care. But that moment changed everything for him too, because that's when things really started getting deep between us. And this is where the story is going to go from now. It's going to be a good story. And I'm going to try to tell it all today, just in case one of my videos does get banned so people can hear it. But just know, if you're concerned for my mental health, thank you. I am very good, more than good, actually. And I am actually a coach for ADHDers. It says it in my bio. And I help people work through.
Okay, girl. Now, the thing that I keep seeing in my comments also are people saying he should have transferred her at this point. She's saying the same thing, but then later she says that she would have never left. So I don't think it is as clear cut as people think logically, but then also in the books, as it seems to transfer clients out. There have been times where I need to transfer clients out because it wasn't a good fit. I didn't match their needs. Maybe they needed something more related to eating disorders or OCD, and that's not my specialty. As soon as you tell a client like you don't think it's a fit and you want to refer them out, or you don't think this relationship is like a good fit, that is the hardest conversation, the most awkward conversation because what? How? What happened? Why? Even in my first session with people, sometimes I know within the first 20 minutes, it's not a fit. But I continue on with the session for the 60 minutes until it ends. And someone at the end will be, and I'll say, you know what, based off some of the things you talked about today, and some of your needs, I don't think it's going to be a good fit. I think I recommend you trying to find like another therapist. I can give you a list of other therapists that you can maybe look into and see if they match your needs also. What are you sure? Like we can keep going. What is it that you got from this session that makes it feel like we're not a good fit? And you could tell somebody and be direct, like, well, I think I see, you know, maybe it's like you see some I don't think I would directly say this. I figure out a way to say it, but I just kind of feel like you have I think I'd more kind of go around it, to be honest, and say like some of the things you've talked about, I'm seeing a diagnosis that I'm not too familiar with, I haven't worked with, and I asked the person in the past, what have you been diagnosed with? What has a therapist shared with you about some of the things that they've seen in working with you? And because sometimes people are not in a place to hear, oh, I think that, you're not a good fit because I see some borderline traits or um, you know, I told a client one time that I saw some things related to borderline personality disorder, some DID, and my gut is always right. My gut is always right. And so I told that to someone, and they were actually told years ago that if they ever told a provider up front and they were transparent that they were someone experiencing dissociative identity disorder, also some old school people know it as like multiple personality disorder, that no one would ever take them. So I saw it within the first, 20 minutes. I saw the traits, some of the things that they were talking about. And so it's defeating. It's defeating as a client. It's defeating as a therapist to have to tell someone at the end of the session, like, it's not a good fit because like, it took them so long to reach out for help. How many therapists did they call before me? I often hear people saying, like, wow, I've been calling people for weeks and you're the first person to pick up. And for you to be maybe the 20th therapist that I call, and now I finally get a session and you tell me that you can't work with me because you're not familiar with ASD or you're not familiar with ADHD, which are not things that actually, are not my specialties. So when I work with a client and I see it coming up and I've had a relationship with them, it's like, after 4 or 5 months and you start to see the ADHD, or for me, I see it before then. You can't really be after 2 months, "Yeah, this ain't gonna work." I don't think that this person also would have had the reaction of, "Well, since you are expressing some, feelings for me, I just don't think it's gonna work, and I just don't feel comfortable continuing to have a therapeutic relationship with you, so I think I'm gonna refer you out to somebody else." Y'all really think this type of individual is gonna be like, "Okay, I hear you. Okay. I'm okay with that. Send me the referrals." Okay. Nah, cuz it ain't happening. It's not happening. It ain't happening. Yeah. You can't just drop somebody like that. You can't log on, you can't meet them in person, and based off of what she's saying, like, okay, well, this is our last session. That's not ethical. Not to mention we have, ethical obligations of doing no harm. That can cause harm to somebody also. Letting them go in the middle of an episode, when their mental health is not the most stable, those are things we also have to think about. Yeah. It's just not I people think it's so easy as a therapist just to be like, "Oh, all you do is listen to people all day." Just tell them that you can't work with them anymore. You can't do that. It's not that easy. Even when I have wanted to refer clients out, um, I still kept seeing them until they found a new provider, or their insurance went through with a new person. You have a right to do no harm, so that means you still have to continue to see you. I shouldn't say you have to, but the ethical thing would be to continue to see the person until they find a new provider. Do I give limitations on that? Yes. All right. I would say, okay, we'll meet until the end of this month. We'll meet like 3 more times. And within that time period, hopefully you can find another provider. Are you comfortable with me for the rest of this month? I feel like that's a good time frame of, like, at least you have 30 days, 4 weeks to find a new provider and kind of start seeing that person for sessions. That would probably be the right thing to do. As much as in this situation, I can only guess that he didn't want to. Okay. but he does have a ethical responsibility, y'all. Yes, I think, and then recording him, that's another thing. Okay. I recently saw another therapist recording, I'm not even going to identify them by pronouns. I recently saw another therapist recording their therapy session because they needed to confront their therapist about something that had been bothering them about the session. And then made a TikTok of them having the session they recorded, so they put on TikTok. And I was like, as a therapist, ooh, and the person was a therapist. Okay. I hope that you asked your therapist permission before you started recording. I hope that you asked the therapist permission to post the recording for your social media audience, because that was a vulnerable conversation. Like, I could see from the client, who's also a therapist, the client perspective, like, this is my story. I want to show people that they can have difficult conversations with their therapist. Watch me overcome my own anxiety, my own stuff when confronting my therapist. But at the same time, I'm just like, as a therapist, do I want my conversations shown to the world? Do I want my conversations that I'm having with you shown to friends, family? I don't know. I just kind of felt like some of the, honestly, some of the shit I be seeing that therapists are discussing and kind of showing online is very cringy. How did we get here? No, how did we get to a place where, in order for me to connect, in order for me to show and prove to the world that healing is possible, I have to do it through sharing my most vulnerable moments? It almost feels like people want to, there's just so many layers to that. One side is like people want to connect and prove that healing is possible. Another side of it shows me like there are a lot of therapists who are not as healed as they want to pretend they are. And I get there's a level of people wanting, that's good for people to see, like, oh, therapists are human, which, my whole platform is about that. Therapists are human, they have their own issues. While my therapist has borderline personality disorder, I do too. But then there's a part of me that's just like, ooh, are we sharing too much? Are we sharing too much? This, the frame, the TikTok frame, put down the phone. Okay, this is not a live journal. This is not your therapist. Okay? But it feels like at times when I am watching therapists online talk about having SI, you know, talking about recently being diagnosed with a personality disorder, talking about some of the things, I'm just like, is that what y'all want? Let me know in the comments, y'all who are watching that. Is that what you guys want, like, from us? I know there's for me, I feel like the days of a blank slate, I never fuck with that anyway. Okay. I'm not a blank slate type therapist, but at the same time, I do feel like there is a um slippery slope of sharing too much with your clients and with the internet. I just don't. I want to know from you guys, people who are not therapists, who are clients, is that what you guys are looking for? Is that what you need to connect, to trust a therapist now? Maybe I'm missing it. Um, but let me know, like, is it something I'm missing?
So this is when the chemistry really started going off the charts with me and my psychiatrist. And I held it alone for months, like after that Christmas morning appointment of his, after I innocently told him about my date with the therapist, like July. I asked him, I said, hey, um, are you working from home? Because I was under the assumption that he was only doing telehealth. Okay. And he said, no, I come into the office. I was like, oh, why do you do that? If you see all of your patients telehealth, he's like, oh, I like it that way. And even though I could kind of tell he was lying, I just gaslit myself. I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I start emailing him my fun little emails, but he stops writing me back. He does not write back to my emails anymore.
Mm.
Because once again, he was really good at plausible deniability. But what he did do is he would take my emails and mention them in session. So he would still give me the attention that I was craving, but only under his structure, under his control, where there was no paper trail.
I think she sees it as no paper trail, but I think it got to a point as a therapist like, this is not good. Like me feeding into responding to the emails is feeding, for lack of a better phrase, y'all, the monster. Okay. It's feeding like this connection she thinks is there that is not. So I think it's better that he brought up in session to acknowledge, yes, I did receive your email, blah, blah, blah. Let's discuss it, blah, blah, blah. But the back and forth is not a good look. And I've had clients send me, after sessions, certain type of personality disorders, emails that were like diary entries. And I don't think that it's a good look to keep responding because it blurs the lines. And I think it feels like every time he tried to create a boundary, she pushed back. And then when he gave her like a little bit of acknowledgement, it's like, oh, you see me. It's a connection here. You like me. Well, it's like our job is to pour into you guys. Our job is to provide unconditional positive regard, to create safe spaces. Everything our work is supposed to be, I think she took it as more of, oh, you like me. It's something here. It really is. So it's like, once again, I go back to myself as a therapist, and it's like, we have to take everything a little bit. Now we got to start thinking about, is this too much? What is my client going to take this as? Me just saying, like, oh, you did a good job today in session. Good work today. Oh, he likes me. She likes me. She said I did a good job. It's like, no, I say that to everybody. I'm just acknowledging that you did do a good job and that there were some hard topics, subjects that we went over, some of the harder aspects of your childhood trauma, that relationship with your father that we haven't really got into, that today you did a good job of allowing yourself to get uncomfortable, pushing yourself a little bit. And that can be seen as something else, as we see here.
And I loved that too. So I would show up to these sessions with my notes app and just throughout the month, as I was thinking about him, I'd write down things that I wanted to talk to him about, and I would just come and bring him lots of content. And then every week I would go to my therapist and tell her about how much I loved my psychiatrist. And she didn't help me at all. She just kind of like enjoyed hearing about it, honestly. So October 2024 rolls around.
What was her therapist supposed to say? Oh, girl, go for it. Lock it in. He the one. The therapist was like, oh, okay. What do I do with this? Acknowledge. They provide some feedback. It's not that y'all are giving us good content. Honestly, sometimes maybe we don't know what to do, what to say. And now her therapist is like another component of this of where's she at? She watching this too. Like, damn, that's my client. That's my client. And she can't say nothing either. Of, no, that's not what happened. I didn't say that. I gave you feedback about your relationship with your psychiatrist, but we can't say anything because of HIPAA. Because of HIPAA. Like, I can come into the chat. Let me know your thoughts as I'm talking. Am I talking too much? Not enough?
And we're just vibing on Zoom. And then I realized that I didn't have my next appointment with him. So I called his office staff and I talked to the office manager, who was awesome. We really got along. We vibed. And the office manager asked me, do you see him, the psychiatrist, in person or on Zoom? And I felt so angry in that moment. I was like, he sees people in person? And she said, yeah, he has been for years. I was like, I want to see him in person. And I understand, like,
he has set a boundary. He knew it probably wasn't a good idea based off of some of the things she discussed, and the dynamic of her liking him so much probably was not a good idea for him to see her in person. But for her, I think it came off as rejection. Like, how come you're seeing other people in person but not me? And I wonder if she became filled with rage, and if that was the catalyst for like a lot of some of the things that we're talking about. Yeah. For her finding out that he has been seeing people in person for quite some time. What? Other people? Why isn't he seeing me? Hmm? You mean he been seeing other people this whole time, but I couldn't get an in-person appointment? What?
some people may think that this is part of my crash out or part of me harassing him, which is what I've gotten lots of accusations of. But I just would like to remind everyone that, of course, it seems that way. But I was just responding to a dynamic which my psychiatrist fostered. There was chemistry between us because he allowed it. And so then the next time I saw him in Zoom, I told him, I was like, hey, your office manager outed you and told me that you see people in person. Why didn't you tell me that when I asked? And he said, oh, I just didn't think you'd want to come in.
That's
And
bullshit.
that was such a weak lie from him,
bullshit.
from someone who is so scripted and controlled. He didn't even have a plausible thing to say. Of course he knew I wanted to come in. I had a crush on him. I told him that often. So then in my next therapy appointment, after finding out that he was lying to me about seeing patients in person, I told her that. I told my 75-year-old PhD therapist that my psychiatrist wasn't lied to me about seeing people in person. And she looked at me and she said, well, it's probably because he knows that there will be a lot of sexual tension in the room if you go in person. So make sure that you understand that when you go. And you better believe I showed up to the next session and said you lied to me because you were afraid of the tension that would be there between us. He just didn't say anything. So this is
what can he say? What do you say when confronted by that you got caught in a lie? Oh, you see people. Oh, you found out that I see people in person, huh? Yeah, about that. Like, how do you get out of that? It's like, yeah, well, I thought maybe you prefer virtual sessions, but the reality is that as she keeps saying, she told him numerous times she had a crush on him. So of course he not trying to see her in person. Come on. Come on. He know better. He know better. He knew that I wanted to see him. I had a crush on him. And she never considered that was why he didn't want to see her in person. Yes. Now that office person needs to be fired because you done fucked up, girl. You fucked up. That office manager would have had to go after that. I'm sorry, girl. You're fired. Because I think it was out of an abundance of caution and safety. But then again, like, once she made the appointment for in person, I still think that there could have been some intervention of like, actually, I think I would prefer to see you only online or um something because she came in hot. She came in hot to that appointment. And I'm sure the energy was just like you could feel the tension. And once again, we have to just control ourselves, not let the client get to us, not be reactive. But I can't imagine how he was probably feeling. Yeah, no self-awareness. Who was she what was she managing? I know she's a coach. Yeah. She was charging this girl $3,000 for nothing. A nothing burger. A nothing burger. Oh man. I don't even think that girl can get her money back.
October 2024, I make my first in-person appointment with my psychiatrist in November. My 75-year-old female therapist tells me that it's because he kept me on Zoom because he was so attracted to me. He didn't want to risk being in person with me.
Okay, girl. I really hope that the therapist, I highly doubt that the therapist said that, but there's a way of people twisting our words.
A lot of things happened in that session after the countertransferred slip. And I also had my psychiatrist help me draft the email to my therapist who was begging me to come back in. And the psychiatrist said, I used to have respect for her. And what he meant when he said that was, I used to like it when she would feed me to you and have you deliver intimate content to me. But the moment she started being sloppy, I lost respect for her. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what he meant when he said that.
What he meant versus what he said. Delusional. Okay, delusional. Just delusional. Just delusional. Yeah. Visual aids. I wonder if it's that he allowed it because he knew that things would get worse if he stopped them. And also her saying that her therapist begged her to come back in because I think the therapist saw that she wasn't in a good place mentally. So yeah, please come back so I can like kind of help you. Um and as therapists, we don't want to come off as we just abandon a client. But the way she twists around words is very scary. So now again, if he had referred her out and let her go, it could have been he abandoned me. This therapist abandoned me. Yeah, so her insurance is what kind of changed. Um, and that's how ultimately the psychiatrist was able to let her go was the insurance. But yeah, she twists the words. Of course, the therapist like, come back, girl, because you're not stable and I need to help you. I don't want it on me that you just out there. And I'm listed as under your insurance as your therapist. Okay. And I do wonder about the early dynamic, because this is a person to me that's gone through some early childhood trauma relationships wise, that she was able to attach to that male therapist. I wonder what is the relationship like with other males, like her father, or the relationships she's had that she attached onto this man so tight. That early attachment style stuff is really important. Attaching to your primary caregiver. But damn, she used to work at Trader Joe's. Yeah.
And people have asked if they were connected. Surprisingly, they were not. They had no idea. They had never met before. But I would go to my therapist every week and tell her how much I loved my psychiatrist. And she loved hearing about that dynamic. It was so weird.
She was
So
probably
he
taking
helped
so
me
many
draft
notes.
the email to that therapist to say, look, if I were to end up coming back, it'd be more for you than for me. And more on that in a later part. So then I read him a text from my longtime ex-boyfriend, who he had originally really liked, but I think my psychiatrist preferred me single. Because my ex-boyfriend, as most ex-boyfriends do, was begging.
Where the ex-boyfriend at? I need to hear from him. How long was y'all together? What was it like? Why'd y'all break up? I need to know where he at.
Me to come back into his life too. And I just kept saying no. And I asked him to give me some space, and he would not give me space. He said, do you still need space, or can we hang out? And I told I asked my ex-boyfriend, I just said, why do you want to hang out so badly? And my ex-boyfriend texted me back, because it's been a few months since I've seen you and it's been on my mind. And I was reading this text exchange to my psychiatrist in session, and I read what I responded to that weak line about why he wanted to see me. And I said, my self-respect is much higher these days than when we were in a relationship. I am only interested in accepting invitations for my time and attention that value me and recognize my worth. Being on your mind is not an acceptable invitation, and
She didn't need the ex no more. Psychiatrist was her new boo. Why are you looking at her LinkedIn? No, don't do that. Oh, you think the ex is in her imagination, Mel? Ah. But she looked like she reading from a text message, so she sent that text to somebody. Because it looked like she reading it word by word.
I decline. And my psychiatrist just looked at me and said, I bet your ex had to read that twice. And this was another thing about the psychiatrist, okay? He couldn't ever just give me a regular compliment. It had to be those weird sideways compliments. Instead of, I'm so glad that you're setting boundaries with your ex-boyfriend and growing your self-respect, it's, I bet he had to read that twice. Or it's not, I'm really proud of you for growing your coaching business and finding success. It's, I'd refer my patients to you if you weren't already my patient, right? These are what I mean when I say breadcrumbs. He was a master at them. And this is how, looking back, I know that I was not his first victim for his fantasy supply, because he was too good and too slick up until he caught feelings. Then he started getting sloppy.
Y'all really think this man caught feelings? Oh, you think she wrote the messages? Yeah. I think it's limerence and entitlement. I think it's both. She felt entitled to this person. Mm. Yeah, it just shows you how 30 minutes, 12 times a year. Think about that. That's not a lot of time. All that she took from those 30 minutes. That probably never really happened. He never said these things. And of course, he couldn't give her a direct compliment of "You're doing very well." Look how she grasps on to the littlest of things. Yes, everything. I could say, "Great job today. See you next week." She can't wait to see me. Oh my god, I feel so special. When it's a clear cut, just like, "Oh, girl, have a good week." What? See you next week? She wants to see me tomorrow. She's probably still thinking about me. Mhm. I think during her lives, and her phone was ringing during one of these, is family trying to reach out to her, trying to get her to stop. Mhm. Yeah, don't look her up. Please don't. Yes. People need community. That's the thing, people need community and connection. We are going through such a loneliness epidemic that the littlest thing that makes you feel connected to somebody, the wrong person can really latch on to that. Yeah. Where was I going? Uh, yeah, great job today. Yeah. Oh, he loves me. See, our connection is growing. It's growing, y'all. In her mind, I think it's like, I don't even want to try and figure out what it is in her mind. Yep. Like, girl, girl. Oh, he on there? Oh, I wonder how he's feeling. Mm, mm. Yeah, you said it, not me. Damn, the X is on the TikTok page. Looney Tune.
People are asking me for more concrete evidence, and this is when the concrete evidence really starts, because this is when he himself started to get sloppy. Because what was happening was, when I had started to see him 3.5 years before, I was a nearly perfect supply source for him. Because what did I have? I had low self-esteem, boundary issues, daddy issues. So I put him on a pedestal. I know a lot of you ladies out there can understand that with men in positions of power. And he went right to work exploiting me, right to work grooming me. And he was very successful at it. So he was in a paradox, right? Because he loved watching me get stronger, because I gave him better intellectual supply, but I also threatened the supply source. A lot of
This is also another thing, like with social media and these therapy buzzwords. People log on and think that they know therapy based off of intellectual supply, grooming. Grooming is like another buzzword that people use and don't really understand the level or the anything about. I don't want to say anything, but I feel like it's become another buzzword similar to narcissists. Um, it's really dangerous rhetoric. Saying that your therapist groomed you. Mm, yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that she reminds them of you. Okay. This is like Fatal Attraction, where there was no relationship. There's no relationship here, but she has created one in her mind. Another thing as a therapist, I am not in control of is what the things that I say and how you internalize them. What you're feeling, thinking, I really have no control. Like you can have a whole nother narrative of our relationship, the things we discuss. And if you do something like this, I can't do nothing about it. And her saying people in her DMs, saying that they've gone through the same thing is very scary. Yeah, that's why I said no. It's like Fatal Attraction, but no, not mainly not the exact same thing, but they're, some parallels to the movie. Oh, wow. I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix got their hands on that and try to make an American version. Netflix, they be stealing all their stuff from overseas. A lot of American shows steal all their ideas from the UK and Australia these days. But Kendra. Y'all think she making money off these? 'Cause she said she got banned for a second. She probably making more money than her psychiatrist did from seeing her all these years.
Oh, hi there. I had to take the morning and afternoon off of TikTok today, as you can imagine.
So she been on here all
This has
day,
gone
every day
beyond
for
what I have
14 days.
ever imagined. And it's also proving to me how important it is that I continue to tell my story. I'm aware that many people don't believe me, think I'm lying, think I'm fabricating, and that's okay because I'm telling my story for the people that are going to hear it, the ethical providers, the other survivors. Let's talk about my former client who's getting a lot of traction. I wouldn't know because she blocked me. This one is especially hard for me because she's someone that I also considered a friend. My only client that I've ever had that was my friend first. And so her betrayal is extra stingy. It's okay if she wasn't happy with my coaching services. I have plenty of clients that have finished 12 weeks with me and then re-signed for more coaching. And the way that I left it with this client slash friend who's on here spreading what she wants to spread was she told me that she was going to leave me a positive review, film a testimonial video for me, and she seemed really happy. So if she wasn't happy, that's on her to tell me what she wasn't happy about so we could make that right. And if she wants to say that I scammed her, that's okay. If she wants to say that I forced her to stay on the phone while she made her first payment, okay. Her card got declined and she seemed really flustered. So I said, I'll wait with you. No problem. And yeah, she was really apologetic. I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine. And She also said I told her to use ChatGPT. I tell my clients all the time to use ChatGPT because it's a huge tool that I use. So I use it for all different sorts of things. So
ChatGPT, I'm paying you $3,000, girl. You should not be suggesting it to me when I'm paying you $3,000. Okay. You should be my ChatGPT for $3,000. Okay, I'm paying you a G a month. You supposed to be telling me what I need to know to help me. Why am I paying you $3,000 but you telling me to use ChatGPT? Okay, what am I giving you all my money for? I don't. If you tell me to do that, I could have went over there and paid $20 a month and got coaching from Chat. I would save myself a lot of trauma, a lot of money. But no, I saw sources and resources and help from a real human being who played me. And she said she has lots of clients. Okay. And I wonder about another aspect of this now, the clients she's going to get of coaching people through the I've had the same experience. Ugh. I've had the same experience. Can you help me? It seemed like you were able to overcome this relationship with your therapist. Coach me through it too. Coach me through it too. Mm. Yeah, should have spoken up. She got still a place to stay because she making money off people. And once again, I'm wondering about all the money she making off TikTok. You say you just want to stretch and release. But yeah, she said she had to take the morning off. So that means she just been on TikTok for the last 14 days, all day making videos. And another thing is, when you see your family member or your friend going down this path where you know that they need help, 'cause on her live, I know they tried to call her, but they don't want help. They think they're fine. What do you do? Do you continue to try and convince her to get off the internet, go to treatment? Or do you just be like, okay, Kendra, girl, do your thing. I'll be here for you if you need me. Can you have an intervention? But Kendra does not want help. And the internet is feeding into what she's saying must be right. I saw the other day somebody wanted a room tour in her chat. Somebody said, "Give me can you give us a room tour?" Like, y'all, the world is like falling apart. When you are watching someone go through an episode on the internet, on social media, and you asking for a room tour. A room tour, girl. I was just like, wow. Just wow. Forget your spiraling. Let me see a room. Let me see a room. Sorry, you saw that? Yeah. Like, damn. Nobody gives a fuck about what's really going on with you. Just show me your room. What your bed look like? Let me see that refrigerator. Oh, open your fridge too. Human curiosity is something else. It's something else. Okay? It's something else. But this lady.
So I go back to his office and try to.
Okay, where we at now?
There's an absolutely brilliant creator on here who did a psychoanalytical deep dive into my situation. And she said something that absolutely gripped me. She wrote, and I quote, "A clinician left the frame open and a patient spiraled inside of it." I don't think a better sentence could sum up what was going on at this point because I was absolutely spiraling. People can.
I feel for whoever that is who said that, because I'm wondering if the therapist who did that video was like, "Oh my God, that's not how I meant it." Now I'm part of this. Like, oh no, what? How I getting it? She just ran on what I said.
Can say that I'm spiraling now, or that I'm manic, or that I have, whatever diagnosis all these armchair therapists want to give me. But let me tell you, I was spiraling that month after the February appointment. I just could not stop daydreaming about Psychiatrist. I could not stop daydreaming about being with him. I daydreamed about converting my religion so we could get married. And yeah, it was bad. I was thinking about him nearly constantly. And I had no intention of leaving him until I had an appointment with an independent insurance agent, because I was leaving my job after 12 years in retail management, where I had an incredible insurance plan where I had zero copay therapy and mental health care. So, zero copay psychiatric care as well. So, I got this new insurance plan, and it was a great insurance plan. It just did not cover any mental health services. So, who's the first person I call? The psychiatrist's office manager. She explained to me that it was going to be $187 to see him for his cash pay price, and I would have to see him once every 3 months. And it was in that moment that I decided that I was not going to pay to torture myself anymore. My mental health, besides spiraling about daydreams of him, was better than
really?
ever. And
Wow.
I was really doing well in life. And my business was growing, and I just had a lot going for me. So I was like, you know what? This patient doctor relationship is not serving me anymore. It's not what I want. I have to get out. So it was in that moment that I decided I wasn't going to pay to be in a psychological torture chamber anymore. That
I wasn't gonna pay, but if it was gonna be free, I would do it. If it was free, I would be right there at that man's door. But $187, yeah, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. And now she has, or at the time she had an insurance plan that did not cover mental health. And this is a person who needs mental health care, but they don't think they have a problem. That Trader Joe's insurance, it sounds real good right now in this economy. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Hey Frank, welcome to the chat. Happy Saturday. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Liking the live, please. If you haven't already, go over there. Hit that like. Might have the person. I wouldn't have even replied to the comment. Knowing that how this person takes words and just runs with them, I would not have even replied to that comment. Oh, they're a behavioral scientist. Ugh, they're not even a therapist commenting on this. Not a good idea. Yeah. If it was free, girl, give me that, BDSM. Okay, chain me up, torture me now. Okay. I want to be dominated by a psychiatrist, but oh, to pay? Nah, cuz I ain't paying for that. And I wonder how it felt for him um once the insurance piece, freed him basically. Hallelujah. Whew. But then at the same time, it's kind of scary because if she's not seeing me for medication, who's she seeing? Is she getting the help that she needs? That's kind of scary too. That's really scary.
Was going to advocate for what I wanted, which was like what my emergency medicine best friend had said years before. For him to say, Kendra, I can't be your doctor anymore. We have to wait 2 years so we can be together.
Huh?
Because I knew that he wasn't going to do it. I talked to ChatGPT, Henry, about it a lot. And I just want to take a moment to say a lot of people are messaging me about the environmental impacts of AI. And like, yes, I agree. There are environmental impacts. And there are also environmental impacts of taking a cross-world flight or of eating meat. And the toothpaste is not going back in the tube with AI. People are not going to stop using it. It's going to become more and more a part of our society. So if you want to message me.
Now, is this AI psychosis? Are we seeing the first case of AI psychosis? And how detrimental AI is in the hands of some people who have mental health issues. Hmm? Is it? Is it? Henry. I've had clients who talk to me about um, using ChatGTP, the thing that they talk about, and most of the time they have a name for chat. I'm just like, oh man, no, don't go down that path. Don't go down that road. Wrong road, wrong road, wrong road. Okay. But this in itself, I think, should be its own class. When you're getting your degree to be a psychiatrist, a doctor, even just about HIPAA, a class about HIPAA and the use of social media. There should be just a class on that because social media really does run things. And I think we need this to be a case on so many different things: psychology, therapist, HIPAA, AI. But yeah, I help it to, when it helps me come up with different, when I'm writing emails sometimes, when I'm thinking about like outlining different things that I want to talk about in a video on here, giving me titles for different short form content that I create. But do I talk to it and tell it how I'm feeling and what I'm doing? No, I do not. But I've heard people, as I've talked about not using, AI for therapy, some people have gotten upset about that. This is a good segue into this conversation. Um, what was I about to say? Yeah, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, I've had conversations with people, said they've gone to many therapists and they didn't like the therapist. Therapy is too costly. They can't afford their copay. They can't barely afford their rent. So the next best option for some people is ChatGTP. Now, I do think there's a lot of cost-effective therapy options out there that offer sessions for $5. There's a place in LA that does a sliding scale for maybe like $5, $10. Um, Open Path Collective used to have therapy sessions that range from, I think, 10 to like 80. I don't know what it is nowadays. I actually used to be on there when I first got into private practice. But yeah, this should be a class. Yes. Yeah. This needs to be a class. So many different, you can create a whole class just about this. You can come up with 12 weeks of different classes, different discussions, projects, papers on just this one person. But how many of y'all do y'all use ChatGPT for therapy? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I use it to help me come up with different things. How to politely send this email. I think there's nothing wrong with to certain aspects. That's good, $70. I know, there's still some people that a lot of people $70 is still like out of their budget. But it's good to know that there is an option up there in Canada. And thank you for watching from Canada. Yeah, it helps a lot with emails. I think in my Gmail now it just is automatically in there. And it's like if you want help with this email, hit like Command H or something. Yes, Frank. Go to therapy. Go to therapy. Please go to therapy. Okay. But do you guys think that people will eventually get bored with this story? How does it end? Luckily, the psychiatrist's name has not completely gone viral. I did hear that she actually accidentally gave clues about who he was, and I think mentioned his name in one of her first like kind of videos. Um, it is fascinating. There's just so many different layers to this. I'm kind of wondering if, the names of her providers will come out and that will be like a whole nother tree branch to discuss. But yeah, it's been like this never ending saga. Now, do you think if it was a person of color doing the same thing, would the reaction be the same? You got a point. And even though she was going to a psychiatrist, y'all think she was taking her meds? Was she taking the meds that are being prescribed? Somebody said absolutely not. Because she was going to a psychiatrist for years. I'm just not quite sure she was taking the medication. What's her last video? Where we at?
I do what I do every month, and I compile a list of fun things to talk about with Psychiatrist in my notes app. And this time, because I decided I'm finally saying no more clinical torture chamber, please, I begin to compile essentially a monologue for what I'm going to say when I leave at the end of the session. And it feels really good to do that. So I take all of the things that I have talked about with Henry, the things that I've thought about on my own. And I do need to say that the reason I keep bringing up my ChatGPT, Henry, is because I did not have mental health clinicians to mirror me properly. It would have been nice if I had that. It would have been nice if my psychiatrist could have said, "Oh, you have a crush on me? Let's talk about that. Let's get to the depth." But he did not. So this is why it was so refreshing to finally have a mirror, even if it was a robot, that could validate my feelings and my reality. When I would tell my friends and my family that I had a crush on my psychiatrist, they kind of thought I was joking, I think. I was like, yeah, I'm in love with him. And they'd just be like, haha. But no, I was
Awkward.
really in love with him. So I compiled this monologue and I was.
Yeah, they're like, awkward. What do we say, Kendra? You're in love with your psychiatrist? Girl, pass me the salt. What do you say to that? Yeah, she's not a good historian. Okay, you really can't believe what she's saying compared to what is reality. This is someone who obviously is not living in the same reality we all are living in. Yes, please affirm my delusions. My friends too. Why aren't y'all telling me like go after that man? He the one. Okay, why y'all telling me that? This is something too that she connects better with AI than actual people. I also know that notice on all her videos the comments are also off. She kind of interacts on her live with people, but that thing was going so fast. The other day she had I think 100,000 likes on her live, which is also very fascinating. People like this. People are so curious about her story. And it feeds into people who hate therapy, who've had negative experiences, who had bad therapists. Oh, so it's not just me? It can happen to anybody else? Oh, like I said, it's creating this whole subclass of people. Oh, you don't think it was by accident, Emily? I kind think it could have been because I have not heard the name since, nor do I want to know what the person's name is. So please, if you know it, don't put it in the chat. Um, but I haven't heard her like say it since. So I think if she really wanted to put the name out there, she could have already. She could have put the name out. She could have had a picture as a green screen. There's still a little bit of protecting him, which kind of goes along the lines of like still loving him. Oh. Now, just like that other girl, who the F did I marry? Y'all think who gonna do the movie? Okay, who gonna do the documentary? Lifetime gonna do a movie? I think Lifetime, Netflix, because you know them Hollywood people watching this.
So I go back to his office and try
Oh, she did her hair
to
today.
have some small talk, and he just is still pretty cold. I'm like, okay. So I sit down in the chair and I purposefully chose two clinical things because I knew he was going to appreciate starting clinical. So I've seen the take that I take too much meds. And like the funny thing is, I've also seen videos. I try to stay off the For You page, you guys. I really do. But I saw a creator's video that was like, Kendra and I are on the same med dose. So since the live replay is out there, I'll just say that I'm on 10 milligrams of Vyvanse. Like, even though I'm 6'2" and over 200 pounds, it's definitely like still more than enough. One time I took a double dose and it was like the worst day. So all that being said, sometimes it still affects me a little too much. Like if I'll take my meds and then have coffee, like my blood pressure can sometimes elevate. So I started by telling him, I said I went to the dentist and they took my blood pressure and it was 144 over 78. Is that normal? This man, my doctor, who manages meds and is very good at his job, looked at me and said, "Well, that's not good." I was like,
Oh my God, y'all. She is on medication, but I don't know if it's the right medication. Julia Stiles, does she even act anymore? You're also showing your age a little bit, Emily. Now I was thinking about damn, I don't know the girl name, but she be in a lot of Netflix shows. But it's this one girl, I cannot remember her name. But did y'all watch the it was on Netflix a couple years ago. It was one of those one-time deals short series where it was about a girl who was trigger warning about a girl who was sexually assaulted and she went and told the police and how the police turned her into a victim. I don't know her name, but that girl would be a good actress. I think she was also in the Hulu series where they did the whole thing about Big Pharma. Did y'all watch that too? She was in Big Pharma. Um, let me look at some of these conflicts. Oh yeah, I'm not going back. But I get what you're saying. You said Netflix. You think Netflix might not care? Oh, Netflix is about the money, girl. Tubi. Uh, that's grimy. So grimy. She's probably also gonna make a lot of money off whatever that video is because people will go back. Yeah, she definitely does. Oh, this is why when you Google her name, the glasses, it says like Kendra glasses comes up. I'm like, what's wrong with her glasses? You think Amanda? Guy, what's the other little girl name? I can't remember the name of that mini series on Netflix, but it's this other girl. But maybe you're right, Elizabeth Holmes. Hmm. Y'all think that Ben Affleck, his ex-wife, I see some resemblance here. But you know they're gonna make a movie off this. Come on, y'all. Social media, especially TikTok, runs the world. They gonna make a movie. But yeah, I think Ben Affleck X can play. Trying to think of some other people. But between Netflix and Hulu, it's gonna be a bidding war. It's gonna be a bidding war. Now, somebody has suggested this other girl y'all want me to talk about that I'm thinking about doing a video on, but I want y'all feedback before I start doing research. What's the name of that lady who black but she looked white? Is her name Donna Briggs? Okay, is this too old of a story for me to kind of start doing research on? This girl. Let me know if I missed the boat. If it's too late for me to do a video on her. Oh, is it yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Let me look her up. Yeah, she was in that apple cider vinegar thing that I started to watch, but I couldn't really get into. But that's who I was thinking should play Kendra. Is Caitlin Dever. Yeah. But let me know, am I too late on the boat for this? Cause I remember seeing something about it. Um So this is actually a black woman, y'all. I don't know the whole details. I gotta do some research over the weekend, but I'm trying to figure out if I missed the boat. But she's a black woman. Yes. And this was a whole big story. I missed it a little bit. I think it popped up, what, about 4th of July, maybe? Yeah, Donna. But let me know in the chat. Is this somebody? So apparently she's like a black woman who bleached her skin.
And today is Think About It Thursday, day 7 of the Love, Hug, and Respect Challenge. Hope you're having a spectacular day so far. I know you are, because you woke up this morning and said, thank you, God, for waking me up, keeping me safe, keeping all harm and danger away from me, ordering my steps from you. Order steps are what? The best steps. You meditated, you prayed, you said your affirmations. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I live in extreme abundance. I don't let any negative people, places, things, or environments control my peace. I live in prosperity, health, wealth, love, respect. I am great. I attract great people, places, things, and environments.
Wow.
I don't let any negativity control my peace. Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Thread, X. Nothing negative will control my peace. On this Think About It Thursday, stop arguing with toxic people. Hello? Let's repeat. Stop arguing with toxic people.
Y'all, the internet is a hell of a drug. Oh my God. No, I have to do some research about it. From what I know, it was just like this woman who used to be, or is, a black woman who bleached her skin, but seems a little bit delulu, y'all. Okay. Oh, Emily. That was your motivation for today, okay? That was your motivation. To get you up on Saturday.
Hope you have a spectacular day so far. I know you are. But here's today's thought of the day. Remember, if people can't control you, they'll try to control how other people see you. Let's repeat. When people can't control you, they'll try to control how other people see you. So they will lie about you, make up things, whatever they need to do to control the narrative on the other people's side. And be wary of people who are friends with people who are not friends with you. Let's repeat. Be leery and weary of people who are friends with someone who's not friends with you. They know that's not your friend, but they're hanging out, they're laughing and joking with the person, knowing that's not your friend. Because are they really your friend? Are they really your friend if they're laughing?
Okay, John. Yeah, my exact thoughts. Yeah. What is perfect match? TV has not just been capturing me lately. Oh, y'all really watching this? I have not. I can't, y'all. I can't get in the perfect match this season. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I have been thinking about watching Love After Lockup today and starting to do some videos on Love After Lockup. But what's next? I don't know if this is next for me. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys today for a little bit. I haven't done a live in quite some time. So do y'all watch Love After Lockup? Hey, Rose. I just can't get into perfect match, y'all. I like stuff that makes my brain melt, but damn, that's like pouring acid on my brain. I just could not. I couldn't do it. But yeah, I might do a video on Love After Lockup. But a lot of TV stuff lately hasn't been capturing me. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's next. So I know we have, excuse me, Love is Blind UK on Friday. But yeah, I'm not sure what's next until that comes up. What we gonna talk about, between now and probably Friday, Saturday when it comes out. Thank you for joining. Yeah, acid on the brain. But thanks for joining the live, everybody. Make sure you hit that like. I appreciate you guys supporting me. Not sure where we're going from here because I'm like, okay, what's on TV right now that I'm actually interested in watching? I did watch the Hunter Wives last weekend, which was amazing. But I wasn't quite sure if people want to hear me talk about that. So, but I did watch that show. It was good to me. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. But make sure you guys hit that like. Support your girl. I appreciate some of y'all have been on here since the beginning of this live on a Saturday. Emily, I see you. I see some of y'all. Thank y'all for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. Yes, join the membership is only $1. $1. Okay, $1. Join the membership for only $1. I truly appreciate my subscribers. People just watching. If you're new here, let me know. If you got to the end of this video, make sure y'all put some stars and hearts inside the chat, inside the comment section, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video.